are we doing? Excuse me for like a bit of a weird angle, but I quite literally just got home from going out with friends and I checked social media and saw that Spotify Wrapped is online. So I thought we would look at things together because I did this video as well last year and I like making it. So let's try again. I do have a different phone than last year. I literally got this one yesterday, so I don't know how well my screen recording skills are gonna be, but we are gonna try. And yeah, I'm a bit nervous for this year's Spotify Wrapped. I don't know. Okay, so there it is. It says this is your 2024 Wrapped. Let's press it and see what my Wrapped is gonna look like. Oh, I'm nervous. It's like very pink and wet. Hello, that's my name. It's time. Your Wrapped is here. Are you ready? Not really, but we'll have to be. Time flies. Yes, it does. By the way, I'm from Belgium, so like the whole Wrapped is in Dutch, but I'll translate as much as you feel possible. Luckily, we kept track of everything. I listened to 11,335 minutes. That's a lot. In the top 30% of listeners worldwide, so it's not that much, but like still a lot. 29th of July is I listened to the most, 286 minutes. I'm trying to think if I had anything going on the 29th. I don't think so. That date doesn't ring a bell, so I don't know. How do you do that? I don't know. I don't know Spotify because I generally, that date doesn't stick out of my mind. 1,273 songs, but one. This is the most listened to. Which one is it? I'm so nervous. I actually don't know. Guy on a Horse by Macy Peters! Worldwide, with the top 0.005% of listeners to the song. I genuinely, this is such a surprise, but also kind of lot because I was very, very obsessed with the song towards the start of the year. I think like 99% of my listening to the song will have been done in the months of January and February, but there's still one that comes up on rotation a lot. But it's definitely my obsession from the start of the year, and I did think at the time that it would make a bit of an indent in my Spotify Wrapped, but I did not expect it to be number one. But I honestly don't mind. Guy on a Horse is a incredible song that I fucking love, and I will scream along to every single time I hear it, so I'm not upset at that. I'm just curious. I listened to a total of 86 times from January 3rd, so I do think most of that's gonna be like January, February there, but 86 times, that's a lot. Let's see what the rest of the top 5 is, because that's interesting, I guess. I do believe the rest of the top 5 is now. Yeah, I do think so. It's not a game, but we made a list. Okay! This is surprising, but also a lot. So my top 5, 1 is Guy on a Horse, as we established. 2 is Espresso by Sabrina Carpenter, which, you know, that song had its moment this year, so obviously, and I'm a huge Sabrina fan. It just is not my favorite of Short and Sweet, but I do guess it's been out the longest out of the entirety of Short and Sweet, so in that sense it makes sense. Exalted for Éclair by Camille, which is the title song to Milo. I fucking adore that song, and that came out, it's like one of the first songs that came out this year, so it also makes sense that that's one that I just listen to a lot throughout the year. And that's not even counting the times each episode started this on with, you know, but it's also not in full. Then we have Yes and by Ariana Grande. Again, when it came out, it was the start of the year, and I do really love, it's not my favorite of Eternal Sunshine, but I do love it more than most people do from what I can see online. I feel like even fans don't really like Yes and, but I love it so much. So that also makes sense. And then Who's Afraid of Little Old Me by Taylor Swift, which I think is the most recent release of these 5. My favorite song of the Tortured Poets Department, easily. So that also very much makes sense. It's also like my big drama song. So like whenever I want to feel like very dramatic, this is one I put on a lot. So yeah, surprising is that 4 of the 5 of the top 5 are new releases from this year. Only Guy on a Horse is from last year. The rest is from 2024. So that's also interesting. I think that's the first time that's happened. But definitely like a top 5 I stand behind. I feel like it represents my listening quite well. So what's next? You changed and it's noticeable to your music. Let's see your musical evolution in 2024. December, November, that's a month, January. Actually, I don't think I evolved that much this year from listening wise. Okay, witchy, alt set British pop. That's The Good Witch, I'm pretty sure. That's just like the entirety of Guy on a Horse, like everything, Maisie Peters. I feel like witchy British pop is like that's the good witch one note. So I guess that makes sense for January. Listen to Maisie Peters, Little Mix, and Zayn. Zayn is a bit of a surprise there, but like, yeah, sure, I'll go with it because I feel like the album came out later. So then we have April. Della Wallace Kate Pell Pop and April. I guess we Camille vibes. April, I believe. I believe April was Sportpaleis for Camille, so that could be correct. I'm not entirely sure because I did listen to a lot of Camille in preparation for that concert. So Camille, Bommelie and Thijs, and Liam. Liam is a character from Milo, so like it's one of his songs. So yeah, that also makes sense. I'm bell pop centric, of course, with that. Yeah, interesting. What's our next evolution? May. I'm trying to think of what happened in these months so I can prepare. Was it May, the Sportpaleis concert? I don't know. Pink Pilates Princess Hollywood Pop. I don't know what to imagine from Pink Pilates Princess Hollywood Pop. What does that even mean? Sabrina Carpenter, Taylor Swift, and Olivia Rodrigo, apparently. May is before Short and Sweet, so I do think that's interesting. Although I listen to Sabrina all the time, I'm a huge Sabrina fan and I have been for years. So, you know, the fact that Short and Sweet got its moment, but I expected that my Sabrina listening to peak around the Short and Sweet's release time, and I believe May is a bit early for that. And then like Taylor and Olivia is also constant artists in my rotation, so that also makes sense. But Pink Pilates Princess Hollywood Pop, I feel like that's such a weird combination. I listened to 271 artists this year, but one won my heart. I think it's gonna be Taylor, I think, or Sabrina, but I think it's Taylor. It's Taylor, obviously, it is Taylor. And top artists this year, my longest listening record was 6 days in a row. I don't even know that's the Taylor I think I'm track of. The top 4% of fans with 1,663 minutes spent together. I feel like for Taylor Swift that's like pretty low 4%, but we'll see. Who else couldn't I get enough of? You'll know in 3, 2, 1. I'm actually okay. Sabrina's number 2. That actually makes a lot of sense. I feel like this definitely in every sense of the word has been a year. Sabrina, like I said, I've been a fan for years, like since the start of her career. So I do feel like she has popped up here and there and rapped before for me. But like this year was like peak Sabrina, and like everyone, even today, I spent like all morning listening to the Fruitcake EP because I'm just perfectly getting in those Christmas spirits with that. Does that make sense? Camille also makes sense. I listen to a lot of Camille, and especially because we also have the Milo soundtrack, which is also on her name, a lot of those songs. So that also is extra in there because Camille didn't release anything this year. But like I said, we did have the Sportpaleis concert, which was a big deal, and I listened to a lot of her music to prepare for that, and also just regular rotation stuff. Camille makes sense. Ariana Grande, I fucking love Eternal Sunshine. I think it's the most underrated album that was released this year, and I listened to it so much, so that also doesn't surprise me. And then again, also her older songs like in my regular rotation set that tell me is another one that's going on right now with the Christmas season. And then we have Olivia Rodrigo, who released Got Spilled this year, which I love the Spilled songs, but again, an artist that's just regularly a part of my rotation anyway. So my top 5 actually makes a lot of sense. I also think this is the first year where it's been all female artists for me. I feel like One Direction typically also makes an appearance or they're one of the members. I believe last year Niall was in it, so it's the first time it's like all female, which is also just like top notch, you know. What else do we got? We have the OEF company, which I think is gonna be the top artist like messages. So I'm turning my sound on just for like a little bit so you can hear that. But I have it muted because you know it will be copyrightable music. I don't want to get in trouble. All the pieces of me shattered.
Hi. I just wanted to say thank you so much for being one of my top listeners on Spotify. That's so nice of you. I look back on this year and I think about how special you guys made it for us being on the Eras Tour. We went all over the world. We went to Europe, Australia, Asia, back through America, then to Canada. And so thank you if you came to see the show. Thank you for streaming the music. It's just been such a wild ride, and I really appreciate everything you guys have done, including listening to my music so much. So cool.
I do think it's kind of funny that Taylor is like, this year was fantastic for the hours tour, and just like didn't acknowledge like a whole ass album she released. Like she released 31 songs this year, and she didn't even discuss that. But we did get her back like a Lover Buddy soon. Not as much as I'm like not looking forward to the hours tour ending. I am kind of looking forward to not seeing her constantly on Lover Buddy soon. Whenever we get like messages like this. But yeah, this time we did get it. Thanks for listening. No problem. See you next time. That was quick. Short. Where's like my long list of like songs? That's kind of disappointed, isn't it? So these are just like the graphics. Oh no, here we go. Your top songs of 2024. I always love getting a little scroll through the playlist. The more down you get, the less accurate it is, in my opinion. But I still like seeing it. So of course we have our top 5, which I will repeat, is Guy on a Horse, Espresso, Exalted for Eclair, Yes and Who's Afraid of Little Me. So let's make that our top 10 with Medeplichting bij Pamelien Thijs, Vuurwerk bij Camille, Ballad of a Homeschooled Girl by Olivia Rodrigo, I Can Do It With a Broken Heart by Taylor Swift, and Mezelf Verlies by Liam, which is from the Milo show. Seems accurate. Pamelien Thijs, I love Camille, I love Olivia. Olivia was in my top artist, so it makes sense that she's also in the top 10 here. I Can Do It With a Broken Heart is another just like song I really love, and then the Milo soundtrack I generally also really love. Then let's see what else we have. De wereld draait voor mij, but er is een MC uit liefde voor muziek. That's actually surprised that that's up that high, because that's my 11th spot. This is just a song from Liefde voor Muziek, which is a show in which like Belgian artists cover other Belgian artists typically. Sometimes there's like non-Belgian artists there as well, but like typically it's like that, and they like put the songs in like their own like kind of spin on it. And this one I just really connected with. I really liked, despite not being like the biggest MC fan. I thought this was a great cover. So of course we have that. Then Please Please Please, which is our next Sabrina Carpenter songs on here. The Story of Us, which is our first Taylor's version. That's a guilty pleasure song. Not even a guilty pleasure song, it's like a nostalgia song that I just love so much. I have Alleen by Francisco, which I also is such a bop. I feel like Francisco as a musical artist is still so underrated, and he's so good. And Alleen is my favorite of his songs. It's just such a banger. Oh, One Direction is actually pretty far down. So Act My Age. Wait, Francisco is the first. No, the rest MC was the first. No, Liam was the first male artist. Who am I kidding? I wish these were numbered though, because it makes my life easier. But Act My Age is the first One Direction song. I do have a weak spot for this song. I do. I know it's not the most popular. I feel like it gets dunked on a lot, but I love it. It's just like such a good hype song. And that's typically what I use it for. You just like get hyped. And apparently I needed to get hyped a lot this year. Then underneath that we have Ego Trip Aaron Blommaert, which is his release, like his main release for this year. He released I believe he released another song as well, but Ego Trip was like his main like big summer release. And it's also my favorite of the ones he's released this year. So that also makes sense why it's in here a lot. Angel of My Dreams by Jade. I'm so glad that made it so high. This is generally one of my favorite songs that was released this year. It's so good. I like Jade's solo music in general has just been so good. But her debut track, Angel of My Dreams, is just one of my favorite songs of all time already. It's so incredible. So I'm glad to see that represented here. We also do have, you see, I also listen to Sabrina outside of the short and sweet, because you also have Feather right there. My Mind and Me is the first Selena Gomez song, which makes sense. I am obsessed with that song. I think it's just the most stunning song to have ever existed. It's so beautiful, so raw. Emotional is a bit older, but still amazing. Single Soon is like right there, so that's more of a fun Selena track. So of course we also have that there. So for now, real surprises. Lunch is the first Billie Eilish song, which makes sense. It's not my favorite of Hit Me Hard and Soft, but it is one I gravitate towards a lot for some weird reason. And if Olivia by Clemens Evangel, I feel like this also regularly has a spot in this list, because again, despite not being like a massive Clemens Evangel fan, I'm just obsessed with the song. So it always just like is standard invitation, so it makes its way on like my top songs of the year, like the big list constantly. So Deurbel by Aaron Blommaert, another one by him. We have Psycho by Anne Marie and H, which is interesting because I feel like I haven't heard that song in so long, but apparently towards the start of the year I listened to it enough for it to hit. Then the first Dua Lipa track, Training Season. That really did take me this long to get to a Dua Lipa song. Also, another very underrated album, Medical Optimism. Training Season is one of my favorites. It's my favorite of the singles. And of course, those we've had for the longest. So I'm glad to see that represented in here though. But then immediately underneath that is Maria, which is a album track that I just is probably my favorite of Radical Optimism. It's so joyful. I love it so much. See also representation for Singular Act 2 with Talum. It's such a good song. I'll still be here, Leanne. Woo, represent Little Max. I'll still be here is my favorite Leanne song. I love it. I've seen it live on the live stream that she did of one of her concert. I stand by it. It's such a good track. Till Romeo is another song I'd leave over music this year that I loved by artists that I don't typically listen to, but it is a cover from artists I do typically listen to. Okay, so Editing Me is popping in here to discuss something very important that I didn't while recording because that was just like generally my first reaction while looking at my Wrapped, and I just did not think to talk about this. But Tel Romeo by Suzanne and Freek is a cover from Liefde voor Muziek from a Kadri song, and that's why I'm jumping in here now, because as you might know if you follow me on this channel, I'm a massive Kadri fan, and I feel like this year for me personally was the year of Kadri. Just the amount that I listen to them is abysmal, honestly. But it is not represented at all on my Wrapped because Spotify counts this as children music, and because that's the only kind of like children's music I consume, it thinks that I have a child in my life and they're hacking my Spotify and they're not counting it. I think that's the thing, because I have seen people who almost exclusively listening to Kadri have them show up on the Spotify Wrapped, but then fans like me who also like listen to a lot of other music, they never show up, and I think that's just Spotify being annoying. And I guess if you have a child, that feature is nice, but I feel like that's something you should be able to opt in and out of, because I feel like such a massive part of my listening this year is not represented. Because with Cat3 this year, we had the Three Biggages, which I don't, I'm glad I don't have statistics to know how much I listen to that soundtrack. I don't want to know. But we also had Liefde voor Muziek, which this of course was also a part of, but none of their covers are represented in here, and I listened to them a lot. There was a couple ones, especially that are like one amongst my favorite songs of the year, and they're not represented in these statistics. And then Zomer van Liefde is generally like the song of the summer for me. Like I almost played nothing else, so that's nowhere in here. And then the soundtrack to Lied van the Same Woman I've also been listening to a lot because I am really excited for the movie and I'm gonna be watching that soon, and I wanna be prepared with the music. So, we have that, and then also just like in general, listening to like backlist Kadri stuff, just like generally, and I feel sad that that's like not a thing that I cannot out of, or like Spotify just opted me out of including that in my stats, and I had no decision over that, and I do kind of feel sad about that because I feel like, especially this year, they deserve to be on these lists. Like previous years, I have noticed them not being in here just because we're not on like that top 100 list that we're now looking through. But I wouldn't have necessarily expected him to make my top songs or top artists. But this year, definitely. Like I feel like if those were things that were tracked for me and were included in this Wrapped, they would have been like so high up and everything. So I don't know. I felt sad that that wasn't included, and like I said, this is like my genuine true first reaction to like seeing my Spotify Wrapped. So I didn't even properly like think about everything that I was seeing, and this is just something I wanted to put out into the world, that I feel sad that Kadri is not included on these. Like why not? Truly, why not? I want to know. We got a lot of Taylor Swift albums in here. I feel I was debating between Sabrina and Taylor because I was like, I think I'll listen to Short and Sweet more than I'll listen to the Tortured Poets Department, but I forgot that Miss Taylor has a shitload of albums, and I feel like most of them are represented in here, so that makes sense. Another one action track I would. That is actually a bit of a surprise. It's not necessarily what I listen to a lot. Angel Baby by Troye Sivan. I feel like this is the point where it gets a little bit less accurate because I don't feel like I listen to Angel Baby a lot, but it's the first notation by Troye Sivan, so that goes in there. It's one of my favorite Troye songs, so that makes sense. We also have Team by Noah Cyrus and Max. A beautiful song. First Noah Cyrus quotation though, so I feel like I need to point it out. It's a beautiful song. Again, I don't remember listening to it particularly much, but oh well. Always Love by Laura Hubecki is the first notation for her. And that song I do fucking love. And again, not one that I listen to like a shitload, but it's stunning. Yeah, and then we've reached the end, so that makes sense that towards the end it got a little bit less representative of songs that I'm actively listening to. But yeah, that was my list. Let's see what do we else have in this section. Should we watch more artist clips? I think that could be fun because Taylor isn't the only one that showed up, I'm sure. Okay, so we have Taylor, which we already saw. Oh, Sabrina.
Hello, it's Sabrina, and if you got this message, that means I am one of your top most listened to artists of the year.
Okay, so Sabrina took a page out of Taylor's book, filming a video in a 2 hour outfit. Also, jokes aside, I think she's out of her Samsung contract, which is weird because I finally have the phone that she's been making advertisements for because she's an iPhone in this video. Anyway, that's Sabrina. I love it. And next we have Camille, so this is going to be in Dutch.
Hey, ik ben Camille en ik wil jullie super hard bedanken om dit jaar te luisteren naar mijn muziek.
Okay, I'm actually excited to hear that she's releasing new music next year because this year was like a bit low because she had the show going on. But now that has wrapped, it's good to know that much more music is coming next year. I'm so excited for that.
Hey guys, it's Olivia. Thank you so much for listening to my music this year on Spotify.
That was so sweet. Oh.
Als jij deze video ziet, dan wil dat zeggen dat je dit jaar heel veel naar mij geluisterd hebt. Dank u wel daarvoor.
I love the little behind the scenes look at one of her songs. Ah,
Hello to all my top listeners.
Daisy!
I just want to say thank you so much for all your love and support this year.
Another teaser for new music is next year.
A little story about writing Wildflower. We wrote the first half of that song laying in the grass.
So with Billy, we got another behind the scenes look, which I think is fun. But I do kind of feel sad that it's like there's no like a real thank you there. But oh well.
2024 was een heel zot jaar, want ik heb heel coole muziek kunnen uitbrengen, maar één nummer vond ik toch heel speciaal om te kunnen releasen op Spotify bijvoorbeeld. En dat is het nummer Donderdag.
Considering this is like the third artist now that has gotten like a little behind the scenes glimpse of like reasoning behind songs and everything, I do wonder kind of like what prompt the artist got for like to record a video because I'm noticing a theme here.
Hey, I just wanted to say thank you so much for listening to my music this year.
Another underrated album, Wilson.
Hey,
Love it
everyone.
so much.
Hi, top
Shite!
Wow. Thank you so much for being my top fans. Well done you. You chose the right person and the right artist.
Because that's some big promises from Jay, like a new album, shows. I'm very excited for that future, Jade.
Hey, it's Dua here. Just wanted to say a massive, massive thank you to you if you're watching this.
Oh, that was it. I'm sad that it's over because I don't think there's more wrapped content for me right here. So yeah, that was my wrapped this year. I feel like it was over so quickly. I don't know what's up with that, but we have some fun time reacting to it. I feel like every year it's a surprise, but also it's not. I feel like this year was very accurate. Some of the songs that you saw talked about today is definitely going to pop up in my favorite songs of 2024 list as well. So I feel like that way it's well represented. And yeah, I love Wrapped season so much. So much. I think it's a lot of fun. And it's just an expedition to today because I already had such a great day because like I said, I just came out with hanging out with some friends and I literally just came home, opened my phone and saw that Wrapped was out. That's when I started filming. So yeah, today has been great. Let me know in the comments how your Wrapped went or whatever other streaming service you're on, what that looks like, your top artists, your top songs. The only thing I kind of wish that Spotify would give us was like top albums because I am curious about that because I feel like it doesn't always represent in like the same way. From what I could see from like my long list, I feel like Short and Sweet is definitely like my most listened to album because like almost every song of that album appeared in that list. But who knows how that actually would look like. That's like a feature I would want from Spotify Wrapped, but for the rest, I absolutely loving it. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.